right, good evening. Let's call the Board of Directors meeting for December to order. Let's stand for Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Denise, can we get a roll call, please?
Director Walper,
Here.
Director Berman,
Here.
Director Lohmeyer,
Here.
Director Martinez,
Here.
Director Wheeler,
Here.
Vice Chair Johnston,
Here.
and Chair Rydell.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, welcome, everybody. We got people in the room. That's always nice, so thanks for coming down. We appreciate it. Denise, was the agenda properly notified?
Yes, it was.
Thank you. And then can I get a motion to approve or amend the agenda, please?
Chair Rydell, I move to approve the agenda as proposed, or as written.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Motion carries.
All right, Board of Directors reports. We'll start with Director Walper.
Nope, I don't have anything.
All right. Director Berman.
One item, we just finished up, multi-week / month effort, on the CMGC selection process. And I gotta say, it was run very well organized, detailed. We were fortunate enough to get 8 bidders to bid on a project out here, which I haven't seen that ever in my experience on the board. But Scott, you and your team did a great job documenting it and going through the right protocols, interviews, scoring and selection. So we wrapped that up today. We had 8, narrowed it down to 3 interviews that were completed tonight. And I think the details will roll out in the next month of which direction we're gonna go. But
Okay,
thanks for running a clean operation on that.
thank you very much. Appreciate it, my pleasure.
Awesome. Thanks for the help on that, too. Director Lohmeyer.
Not much. We ran wrestling tournaments Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The gym's here. Girls were on Friday. It was the biggest turnout we've ever had. It ran really well. Lots of girls were there. It was really cool to see. Saturday we did all boys, all high school boys tournament. I don't know. We did well. We took second behind LeGrand. LeGrand's usually the top school in the state for all divisions. So, did pretty well. And, you know, we have a few 6A schools there that we beat, so did good. And then, Sunday we ran a kids tournament. So, just wrestling all weekend.
All right, thank you. Director Martinez.
Just want to echo what Director Berman said, that we were part of the CMGC interview process today. So thank you for inviting us and inviting the board for our engagements to see how do we select CMGC and general contractors in our project. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for participating.
Director Wheeler.
I want to touch on parent-teacher conferences. Right before Thanksgiving break went well. It seemed like everybody was pretty well prepared. It's always good getting feedback on the kids and the continuous check-in as far as all the Power School s'mores and all the other apps that we're required to have as parents. It's always nice to be not be surprised as you go into those. So I appreciate that, Ms. Willie. Appreciate your time. And other than that, Director Lohmeyer, great job on the tournaments this weekend. That was a ton of chaos, a ton of kids from all ages, so great job. And basketball season's kicking off, so looking forward to that. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Director Wheeler. Vice Chair Johnston, who is online for anybody is in the room.
Thank you. From afar, I just want to piggyback on what Director Wheeler said. Just a big thank you to the teachers for providing multiple opportunities, AM and PM, to meet with parents and their constant communication. And you know, I can see an overall just kind of love for our kids collectively, and it's showing in their communications and their support in the classroom. And then secondly, I just wanted to thank the district maintenance staff, with the rains that currently happened and over the last month, just all the elements that are coming our way with winds and keeping our district grounds looking beautiful. So that was it.
Awesome, thank you very much. I've got a couple here. Conferences were good, that was already covered. So typically tonight, or the December meeting, we'd have high school choir, the Troubadours, come in and sing. Unfortunately, a lot of them are at a Spanish club mariachi event downtown tonight, so we'd have been very understaffed. So they will join us in January to perform. So excited about that. Upcoming events, so we've got high school music concert next Tuesday in the auditorium. Next Wednesday, the high school and middle school are performing at the Grotto. So if you're at all interested, it's a great venue and a great opportunity. So I encourage everybody to go and support that. Winter sports are underway. I'm announcing basketball, so if you get bored, come on down. And then Newsies. So the winter musical is Newsies this year, so excited about that. That will run January 22nd, 23rd, and 24th in the auditorium, so it's a phenomenal show. We did it 6 or 7 years ago, so when Hank was in 5th grade, and then he was a senior, so 7 years ago. But a phenomenal show, phenomenal production that Mr. Frunk and Ms. Collins put on over there. So definitely come down and check it out. And that's it for me. All right. Thank you very much. We'll go on to item D, district reports. And first up is communications. Maggie and Danny, come on down.
Evening.
Good evening.
For the month of December in communications, a couple things we're working on right now, projects in progress. We are about to start our parent committee for reconfiguration regarding parent pickup at the end of January. So we're preparing now the promotion to make sure everyone is aware of the committee and has the opportunity to sign up for it and align their calendar so that we can collect feedback. We're also about to start communication with our transportation department to collect their feedback on this, as they will play a big role in the transportation portion of reconfiguration. We also have finalized our community mailer and have worked with our local postage to get that out to the community. We have a nonprofit postage rate, which is a little in the weeds, but we do send this out to the community in a very cost-effective way. And that has been great to work on. And then another exciting thing that we've been working on is we're working very closely this year, closer than ever before, with our performing arts department. And we did some promotion of the Christmas Carol last month, and attendance to that was increased threefold in terms of ticketing sales. So just through some light promotion and, of course, their incredible work, it was great to see some new faces in the door. It supports them. It was a fundraiser for them. They get more people, but also, equally important, the community gets an exposure to our schools, and it's just another positive touch point for them. So that was a great thing to be able to help drive. And just yesterday, we were interviewing some of our Newsies cast members, asking them why should the community come out to see Newsies, having them describe it in 3 words, what should the community expect. So that was a fun thing to work on, and we're looking forward to promoting Newsies just as much, as well as, I believe, our choir has had quite the honor. They are going to be able to perform at a conference in January. We're looking forward to showcasing that as well, just to show off how well-rounded and accomplished our students are. Some recently completed projects, our principal video series. Each of our principals takes over Super 60 for a month. So Superintendent Carpenter will be taking over again soon, but that had over 5,700 views throughout that series. So it's just good to peel back the curtain a little bit and show the great work that's going on inside of our schools. I also just wanted to echo conferences, and one thing this year, we were able to handle all of the translation and interpretation during conferences in-house for the first time since I've been here. And that was really great, and just a testament to our teaching and learning team, our EL department, and our translators and interpreters. We've used outside services before. Bringing it in-house, it's a lot more reliable. Our parents are talking with someone they know, and it's more cost-effective. So it was great to be able to deliver that for the first time. And then, again, performing arts features, we were excited to see that that's having a positive impact and look forward to continuing that. And then another thing I just wanted to touch on, weather is coming up, so we're preparing for anything, snow, ice, power outages. We always like to prepare, make sure we have messaging ready in English, Spanish, that we have people cross-trained, just in case the unpredictable happens. And then over the past few days, Josh has done a great job of just videoing and taking photos of the great work our maintenance team has done. We're gonna put together a video to show the community how responsive we are to these events and what a great job they do maintaining our facilities, even in pretty tough conditions and with pretty tough facilities. So we're excited to put that together. Our RISE committee has had 5 meetings so far, and we are really enjoying and having a productive conversation there. The meetings are being live streamed again to maintain transparency and just get the word out to the community. So you can watch it on YouTube if you're looking forward to seeing the conversations that we're having. Moving forward, they're gonna be focusing on topics including the student health survey data that we recently got back. And then we are required by the state of Oregon to have a wellness committee that overlooks things around PE health minutes and lunches and lunch menus and food offerings. So they'll be helping out with that as well. So we've really enjoyed meeting with that committee. And I'll turn it over to Danny.
Okay, well, these weeks leading into the holiday break is always fun for all the heartwarming and great activities that we have going on, so I'll just share a couple of those highlights with you. As you can see on the picture this morning, Rivermill hosted their family breakfast, so that's just 1st and 2nd grade students, and the place was packed, so all of the tables were full. The line was literally down the hall and out the door. It's still surprising to see how many students and how many families are partaking when we just only have it down to 2 grades. So although it was full of fun and laughter. So all of the students were so proud to walk their parents through the lunch line and show off all the things that we had going on the tables. It's just really delightful to have everybody in the building. And of course, the connections between the staff members and the students and the families is great, but I also just want to take note to our food services and our custodial staff. So they're also there smiling and greeting and welcoming those families, and the custodial staff is just there ready to clear tables, pick up the spilled milk, like help out the families. It's just really great, and I think it's a testament to our 5-star service that we want to show our community when they come into the buildings, and so it's just always great. We look forward to more of those. The next would be music concerts. So Rivermill hosted one last night. There's one at Clackamas River right now. Their gym's full of community members and family members listening to our young scholars sing, so that's always fun. And as you mentioned, we have a lot of other music concerts next week with the middle school and the high school. We want our community to go visit them as well. The next thing on the list is the generosity across our district. As we all know, this time of year is a challenge for a lot of people in our community, and as usual, our Estacada community in our school district steps up when there's families in need. So a couple of the things that we have going on that I wanted to spotlight was our winter gear drive. This year, that is being ran by a high school student who has collected over 500 warm winter gear items from our students, and that's going on through next week. It's been really wonderful to see them kind of take charge and be able to go into classrooms and talk to students about why this is important and why some people are in need and how they can step up and help. And today I got to help take photos and be a part of one in a kindergarten classroom. So we're starting young with this generosity, and it's wonderful. Our fabulous secretary, Leanna Rich at the high school, worked with our high school staff, and they were able to provide 10 Thanksgiving turkey dinners to families in need in our community just by donating one item at a time. That's the turkey dinner there at the bottom. They decorated them in cute boxes, and they were able to distribute those. And then Adopt a Family that is facilitated by our school social worker, Bettina. We have over 90 students that are going to be able to get items off their wish list this year from our community members and staff members that are helping adopt these kiddos and give them a wonderful holiday break. So those are just kind of the fun, heartwarming things that we have going on where our community's coming together, and I wanted to share the things that we get to hear about and help document and share with our community. And then lastly, we're still in the process of the Safe Route to School program that I mentioned last time. At the last meeting, we'll be doing that up and through August, but we will have a committee opportunity for stakeholders to take part in conversations in February. where you would come and be able to talk about promoting student safety during pickup and drop-off times, but also as a community member, providing feedback on what it looks like to be someone just traveling through the community during those times of day. So if anybody is interested in participating in that committee, any of the committees that Maggie mentioned, I'm always happy to take a phone call or an email on any feedback or community outreach efforts that anybody's curious about, so.
Is the Adopt a Family all internal? You guys are running basically your own program, it's not affiliated with?
Bettina, yes, so she's running it all, and it's all students within our district, well, and siblings, but yes. It's been a wonderful thing to see our offices filling up
Full of
quickly.
presents. Yeah,
And we
it's
get to
great.
deliver next week, so we're looking forward to it.
Questions?
I have a question on the safe routes to school.
Yeah,
So obviously, it's pretty dark and dreary out this time of year.
uh-huh.
And the 7:15 drop-off time for the elementary and middle school is dark. Has there been any outreach ever to PGE about putting in more streetlights?
I went to a traffic safety meeting, like a month ago?
Yeah,
And two things we advocated for. One was a four-way stop at 6th and Broadway, and one was more pedestrian level lighting in front of the middle school. That is what the identified issue is. I guess there's enough high level, but because there's so many trees, it blocks a lot of the light early in the morning. So they have committed to installing more pedestrian level lighting to improve the area in front of the middle school because it is really dark in the morning.
They being PGE or they being somebody
The
else?
city.
the city.
The city.
Is the one
Yes.
communicating and requesting. And that was what I heard the last meeting, is that they have reached out. I'm not against having there be a second voice calling in, as a district, it would
Are
be.
you volunteering me?
No, I'm volunteering myself, but you would be
All I
great
know is he
too.
doesn't drop his kids off at 7:15. I drive by your house every day.
7:05.
Yeah, but agreed, especially with this reconfiguration, we're very aware that this is going to increase traffic, going to and from the district, or from the schools, so we want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable, especially this time of year. Being a student walking this week would have been awful.
No, very
And
nice.
every time we'll install more lights, and then if there's continued feedback, this is just a continual process, so we like getting the continued feedback, and we'll keep chipping away with the city.
Do we know how long of time frame till we get lights?
A better,
I
Like they
don't,
said they'll
I
do
will
it,
look
but is
into
it-
it, I can reach out to the, folks at the city, I've been dealing with them often about it, so I can double check and I can let you know.
the last meeting I was at a month ago, they committed, they said it was going to happen, but I don't think they were far enough along in the timeline, but
Okay.
Danny,
Yeah, and that stop sign has been approved
Oh, okay. It's
there
already in
at
approval.
Sixth and Broadway, so I'm not certain when that will be put up, but I know that they have voted to go ahead with that.
seems like there was a decent amount of momentum behind it.
Good.
Okay,
Thank you.
other questions? Thank you.
Good job.
All right, next up is Finance and Accountability Report. Scott, you're up.
Hello, I feel like I'm speaking a lot today, so excuse me if my voice goes. The first part is your enrollment report, and as you can see, we did dip a little bit from last month, but we're still running ahead of where we were last year. We're right in the ballpark of what we told the state and what we budgeted on, so as long as those numbers hold, give or take, 5 or 6 students, we should be fine budgetarily, and at any rate, I wouldn't recommend making a change in the budget to reflect these changes of enrollment. They're not grand enough in the big scale. Is there any questions on the enrollment report?
Just to be clear on that, are we running at the beige-ish orange?
Yes, it's an unfortunate color, but I'm not bright enough to figure out how to change that color. It's 1985 for current enrollment in November. See if we can get that changed in the future.
I would too, Scott, just in looking at this, because this only goes through 2021, as far as the colors at the bottom. So we can see that top
Oh.
one only goes through November, so that clearly is this year, but But yeah, it makes it a
Boy,
little.
that's a good catch. I didn't even notice that. I've just been watching that.
I
grade
just thought it
number, so-
always went off the screen, like that it just didn't show up on there.
Right.
Huh. All right, well, thank you for that feedback.
Yeah.
We'll get that report adjusted. It needs some readability improvements anyway. Is everyone okay with me if I drop 2014, 15, and 15, 16?
Yes.
Okay, we'll make those adjustments at your next month's
Just
report.
remember how many more kids we have from those days.
Well, and
Well,
it
if
it
you
might
wanna
be
know
nice-
that, all you've gotta do is put down the total for, or the average total for those 3 years,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and
yeah,
we don't need the,
You could do a lot more with numbers instead of lines.
yeah,
You
yeah.
get you could keep all the data there.
yeah.
Okay,
That,
all right. Yeah, well, that's a good project for us. By next month, we'll get that adjusted for you. Make a more readable report. Great, thank you. Is there any other questions or comments on the enrollment report? Okay, moving on to your financial report. Nothing really new to express on this report, with the exception of one thing. The expenditures, we have transitioned, and this is the way this report works. If you recall, when we first rolled out this report, those expenditure projections were based on the percentage of budget utilized last year. So essentially, if, for instance, we spent, I'm just making these numbers up, 8% of our salary costs last year were done in the month of December, then that percentage was applied to this year's budget, and that is what gave us our projected budget amounts in those columns. About this time of year, every year, we are going to shift, in October and November, we're gonna shift those projected amounts to actual encumbrances. We know where people are, where they're sitting, how much they're going to cost the district in both salaries and benefits. All their benefit choices have been made, all of that. So what we do about this time of year, and Hannah did this just last week, had shifted those numbers to what we consider more actual projections. And interestingly enough, which says good things, that bottom line number, that 5.28 number, didn't change that much. It changed by 1/10 of a percentage point. And so, so that tells us that this report is actually reflective of traditional trends going forward, and has been a good report for some, it gives you a little bit more trust in the numbers, and it gives me some trust in the numbers, so that's very helpful for me. Other than that, don't have a lot to talk about there. I expect that 5.2 million to hold, hopefully throughout the rest of the year. When we're getting into the December, January, February, that middle of that report, and we start putting in some actuals in there, that really starts to tighten up that ending fund balance number.
I'm assuming, Scott, when you're looking at the preliminary ending fund balance for November, right, which is the, or the beginning fund balance, which is the ending fund balance from the previous month at the bottom, right? I'm assuming it jumps from 7 million at the beginning, 7.6 to 14.6 because of the taxes that are received through the
Correct.
state school fund that's payments made,
Yes,
right?
yes, we get a lion's share. If you look up above on that local revenue number, in the month of October, we received $53,000, and in the month of November, we've booked over $8 million. So, from a cash flow standpoint, this is our best cash flow month.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. And then finally, on my written report, the one highlight I did want to make is, in the written report, I had mentioned that the audit is progressing smoothly. It is progressing smoothly. However, we had communication from the auditors that they are requesting or highlighting the potential that they may have to take advantage of the late turn-in of audit. Let me back up a minute. ODE, because of the federal shutdown, prevented federal programs from providing auditors audit guidance, which is a required piece of what auditors have to do for school districts that receive a certain level of federal funding and are subject to what's called federal single audit. Estacada is such a district, as is probably about 120 other districts in the state of Oregon. And so because of that delay in information, the auditors were unable to finish their single audit portion of all of those districts' audits, including ours. So what that did is it put the entire audit industry behind, and ours included. And so they have mentioned that to us in an email, which I received yesterday after I've written this report. And so they have not requested, they have just highlighted the opportunity that they may have to take that opportunity that the state has allowed them to turn in the audit 30 days later than the traditional deadline. Now, in the past, even as early as last year, if that deadline was not met, ODE withheld, by statute, withheld the state school fund allocation for that month. I believe that this district experienced that. And however, that ODE has received a waiver from being able, from implementing that law. So even if the audit was to be turned in late, we would not be exposed to potentially withholding of the state school fund allocation. So I haven't even mentioned this to Dr. Carpenter yet, but we will sit down and decide what our response is to that request and communicate effectively with our auditors. For the most part, all of the financial stuff is complete and ready to go. Okay. And so, but I do, you know, it's legitimate that, you know, this federal information was not forthcoming, and they just got hit with it all in the last 10 days, and I can commiserate with them to that extent.
Yeah, and I can say too, just out in the nonprofit, not-for-profit world, the regulatory environment is tenuous, and so it's not uncommon that we're seeing delays from a regulatory and audit standpoint that I experience outside of this room as well.
Yeah, that's helpful.
When you say withholds the state school fund for that month, is that withholds indefinitely or withholds until that audit passes go and then we get that?
Yes, the latter.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just,
so that
just
is
delays the
not-
payment.
Yeah, it does delay the payment,
Okay.
yeah.
Motivation,
It is motivation.
but
and I
thankfully
tell
they
you,
realize
it-
it's not our fault, so they're not gonna do that this time.
It's had me doing some work, you know, on December 31st.
All right,
Anyway, that's all I have. Thank you. Are there any questions in the financial report or anything about the status of the district financially? All right, thank you very much.
all right. The one question I'd have, is there anything not discussed or shown in the financial report that we need to be aware of, Scott?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you. And then I'd like to also call out, we don't have an operations report tonight, but we do, it is in the board backup. So, as a reminder, just based on some structural changes there, we're not gonna have a regular update. That'll just be included in the board packet. So make sure from a board member standpoint that we're reading that. And wanted to shout out John, Lori, and Christy from Facilities, Nutrition, and IT respectively that completed that report for us. That's in the board report. So thank you to those three for putting the work in. We appreciate it. All right. Next up, Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Chair Rydell and members of the Executive Board, and several things tonight, but you did just remove one of them, and that is to look at the operations report. And thank you so much, Chair Rydell, for the shout out and that. I also want to thank the Board of Directors for the last hour and a half of what I believe to be a fruitful, productive, and great conversation, particularly pertaining to planning for next year's budget, as well as having a conversation about potential bond planning, timelines, and those types of things. By no means is it our intention to declare anything in terms of movement towards a bond. It was just a discussion between the elected board of directors and district staff to talk more about what the processes look like with updated information. I also want to thank Director Berman and Director Martinez again for their efforts in supporting our school district and finding what we think to be a suitable and highly talented general contracting service to help us with our 1.5 million, 2.5 million, $2.2 million seismic grant, which will be reconstructing our high school commons to make it more safe in the event of an earthquake and withstand other emergency circumstances. And this is a project at the moment that is slated to be conducted not this summer, but next summer. And so just for the board to know, but we're really pleased with where we're at in the process, and a deep thank you to two school board members who have deep knowledge in this industry and profession and helped our district as well as our taxpayers in terms of making sure we're getting good service and good prices towards that. As Communications Director, Maggie Kelly conferred reconfiguration. We are in the middle of that process, and things are going very well, and we are on track with the process of the reconfiguration next year. As a recap, Clackamas River Elementary School will hold 3rd through 5th grade next year, and River Mill Elementary School will hold kindergarten through 2nd grade. The middle school will remain 6th, 7th, and 8th. As well as the high school will remain 9, 10, 11, and 12. And things are moving along quite well in that area. One thing I want to put on the board's radar that will probably come for action and or vote within the next couple of months. For many years, we have talked about what it would mean to rebrand all schools to become the Rangers. And we have also been moving that progress along, and we believe that reconfiguration is the right opportunity for us to go through that process. And so you can expect action on that, as well as hopefully community feedback over the next couple of months as we move towards that direction. So I wanted to put that on your radar. I also wanted to let the board know that our team, our executive team, has done tremendous work collecting the voices of our teachers, paraeducators, and learning specialists when it comes to location and grade assignments in terms of what they're teaching next year in this reconfiguration. We've received tremendous amount of voice from our employees in terms of their desired building, their desired grade level that they want to teach, and the desired caseload level in regards to special education. Our team has been crunching this data in the background, and our intention is next Friday, prior to the release into winter break, it's the district's intentions to inform our employees the building that they'll be going to and the grade level that they'll be teaching next year. With a big asterisk next to that, because everything is subject to change as we continue to grow in population, as we continue to work with students and their different needs. Things may fluctuate throughout the process, but we made a promise to our employees that we were going to get them this information as soon as we possibly could, and I'm very proud of where we're at in that process. Another thing I want to make the board aware of is we are beginning to, speaking of audit the progress of Deep Creek Learning Academy. This is ideally our alternative school or a placement for students who want to contribute to their own learning journey at their own pace and in a differentiated way, different than the traditional K-12 school district. We are going to start looking at outcomes, think students moving on track. This has been a very successful program for us and has helped us close the gap in terms of on-time graduation rate. Last year, the Estacada School District celebrated its highest graduation rate in school district history at 94%. DCLA plays a role in that in closing the gap between students who are behind on-time graduation rate, and it accelerates that recovery in the process. I'm a little bit concerned right now at where its location is, and we had hoped that this was going to be something that was going to be productive, and right now we're seeing data that concerns us about that program hitting its benchmarks, maybe potentially some lack of oversight based on that proximity. So I'm just letting the board know that we, the district, are going to start looking into that a little bit deeper to determine if this new setting is in fact the best spot for kids, primarily when it comes to outcomes and what we're looking for there. As I shared with the board, maybe 2 or 3 days ago, the OSAA, that's the Oregon Schools Activity Association, primarily contributed to our athletics programs, but also our music programs just the same. Every 4 years, they reclassify leagues, and we're a 6 classification state. There was conversation about moving to a 5 classification state, and I shared with you the final proposal from the OSAA that came out. It's scheduled to be voted on, I believe, next week to put into form. They're still taking, obviously, appeals and lobby from different school districts that would prefer a different outcome. I wanted to share with the board that the Estacada School District is quite pleased with Estacada's outcome in that process. We remain 4A, and we remain in the Tri-Valley League, which is always very important to us. The OSAA has changed some student enrollment configurations, and so we can expect the Estacada School District to compete always with Gladstone and Malala over the next 4 years. But in addition to that, Madras and the Dalles, which we've been consistent with, and we're bringing North Marion back into our league under this proposal. The thing I'm celebrating is with the change in enrollment, Cascade and Henley, 2 foes that we've battled with in multiple sports to get to the state championship, have elevated to the 5A levels, which they should have appropriately been in the first place. But I also anticipate those are 2 school districts that will be fighting hard in the next 3 or 4 days to try to stay at that 4A level. So I'm optimistic about what our competition looks like in the next 4 years, which allows Little Estacada, who always fights above its weight, to continue to be successful in all of those areas. I'm excited for the board tonight to have the opportunity to hear a big and exciting update from Aaron Gardenhire this evening. Over the course of the last couple of months, we have seen true and authentic enthusiasm from local business community, as well as some key stakeholder community members in the push and efforts to start a forestry program in our CTE areas at Estacada High School. What separates this program right now from several other programs that we offer is the enthusiasm that is behind it at the moment and the money that is potentially behind it as well. And while many people have lobbied us for an agriculture program, we believe our agriculture program's doing a great job. We see our community satisfied, but that hasn't necessarily correlated to, at-large investment from our community. We have a great manufacturing program that we're trying to improve, but we haven't seen that yet correlate to our local manufacturing companies doing anything to support us in those pathways. And the same for our diesel mechanics. This is a program that seems to have a lot of go juice behind it right now, and they are really intentional about doing that, and you're going to hear that from Aaron Gardenhire this evening. Also, I just wanted to let the board aware that on Tuesday of next week, the City of Estacada's Economic Development Commission is going to be touring our CTE spaces in an ability to bridge some of those partnerships between our career technical education courses and local business and industry. And so I'm excited about that, as that is a step in the right direction. And I also want to put on the board's radar that sometime probably in February, March, or April, kind of in that window, the superintendent of the Malala River School District and myself are trying to coordinate a joint school board session where Malala's school board and our school board can come together and compete in wrestling, football, and anything else. That's a joke, although we would win in everything. But that being said, as I have shared with the board and as Aaron has shared with the board, we're working hard to really compete with some of the bigger school districts when it comes to career technical education pathways, and we're talking about how we can fluidly move our students. So, example, if Malala has a best-in-class welding program and Estacada has a best-in-class electrical engineering program, that we have the ability to swap kids so that we can just expand our options for students in our rural community. And so we're to the point now where we've been building plans in the background. Aaron has been working with Malala's representative and kind of putting these packages together. And the next step soon is going to be to put our boards together to talk about the support behind this and what that potentially looks like from just a logistical standpoint. Last two things, one is quicker than the other, but I just wanted to communicate with the board, and I have shared with a few board members that we're seeing an increase over the last 2 or 3 months of people utilizing our football turf stadium in an unauthorized, unsupervised fashion. And damage is starting to be created, like, for example, over the Thanksgiving break, you know, we have a responsibility to protect our assets, which is paid for by the taxpayer, and so everything is locked. Well, we have noticed that and identified some people have started to cut the clasps of the chain link fence and move them out so people can sneak in. We've had numerous occasions of people climbing fences just to be able to kick the soccer ball around, or really anything soccer related has been the largest culprit of this, unauthorized use. And so I wanted to share with the board that we are going to bolster a little bit the protection of that by placing the electronic key cards, so we have a better opportunity to record who is coming in and who is coming out of there, as well as our camera systems as well. And we're going to try to mitigate some of the fence climbing in different ways. And so I just wanted to make the board aware of that so we can do a better job of protecting what was a very expensive asset for us and something we want to maintain for its lifespan. And so that's a big one that we're working through. And last but not least, and very importantly, our district leaders, principals, vice principals, we have given the survey, which I rolled out to the board last month. We're now building our evaluation scorecards based on those results. And effectively next Tuesday, the entire Estacada administrative and leadership team is going to come together for our quarter one. It's for business world, that's a better, a terminology. But in our business, quarter one officially ended when we had parent-teacher conferences. And so we're going to bring all of our data together to make sure that we're on track to hitting our annual benchmarks, looking at the quarter one results. And so I'm excited to share that feedback with you as well. And that this month is your superintendent's report.
Great.
I've got a question for you, if I may, and I
Of
think the
course.
community would like to hear it. I had an individual the other day ask me, they have a rather large family, and they have
We're
a child.
appreciative of that.
Yeah, they have a child in kindergarten, one in second grade, and one in fourth grade. This is next year. Now, are both CRE and River Mill going to be releasing their students and starting their students at the same times? Because there's a number of parents that take their kids to school, and they were wondering,
Yeah.
How they're going to coordinate things.
Yeah. So the answer technically is yes, they start at the same time. However, we actually stagger the start and end times based on that very logistics that you're talking about. And not only are those logistics driven by parent pickup and drop off, it's also coordinated by our transportation routes. And so even right now, our elementary schools theoretically start at the same time, but Clackamas River actually officially starts 5 minutes sooner than River Mill, because we have, through the data and tracking, we've determined that by the time we're able to drop students off on the Clackamas River front entrance, it takes about 5 minutes for all of our buses to get to the middle school is 5 minutes, and then River Mill is an additional 5 minutes. So there's a 10-minute start delay between Clackamas River and River Mill based on drop off at Clackamas River, drop off at the middle school, and then drop off at River Mill. And it's the same at the end of the school day as well, just to make sure that parents can drop off all kids at different times. And this is the committee that Maggie's about to start, because in addition to our status quo of what we've always done, we want to collect that parent feedback as well as transportation feedback to make sure that we're doing that in a process that allows everybody to pick up kids. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
One question, Ryan, so that you talked about next week, the building and grade level assignments,
Yep.
initial assignments. Is that, I'm picturing the timeline that you showed us last month or the month
Yeah.
before. Is that in line with what was
Well,
on there?
thank you for asking that. It's actually sooner than the
That's what I thought.
timeline. And I appreciate that question, because this is a good deed we're trying to do and adjust based on our employees' voice. Our initial intention was to deliver this information in the month of March and April. But in our intention behind that was we just wanted to mitigate distractions during the school year so we could really focus on teaching and learning. However, we did notice that just the anxieties of what this was going to look like was already creeping into some of our teachers. So based on their voice of wanting to know sooner rather than later, we made this adjustment. And so this information is actually way ahead of schedule from what we projected.
Okay, great, thank you. Any other questions for Superintendent Carpenter? Oh, yes, Will does. Thank you. Will?
Ryan, I wonder when we're talking about locking down, thank you for the update on locking down the football field or trying something to protect the assets. I wonder when we do that, if maybe Maggie or team can put together some type of communication or a campaign that talks about the rationale around protecting the assets also comes when people come on the field and they're not insured. The risk to the school district is great. And so I wonder if we could just explain that and maybe even explain the ways that you can properly utilize it by having a proper, appropriate insurance and other things that you need in order to use the school facilities.
No, that's a very noble point, and I appreciate that. And again, what Vice Chair is speaking about is really, it is a public facility, and there is a process in a way to rent it, reserve it, and utilize it with the proper documentation of insurance coverage, school affiliation, nonprofit status, youth level affiliation. And so there are multiple pathways to be able to access that facility. But the reason why we can't is the people who are accessing it now have no coverage whatsoever, which puts 100% of the liability on the district. And we would much rather see our money go towards kids in the classroom than paying for legal fees and insurance claims.
Yeah. Great. Any other questions? All right, thanks, Ryan. Next up, item F, reports and presentations. It looks like we have FFA here first. Ms. Willie, come on down with your crew.
I'm just gonna have to bring a chair.
Somebody running the clicker.
You get to do the button, and you have to introduce yourselves. Okay. Me first? Bro, can you introduce yourself? I'm Isabella Allgaier, and I am in Miss Willie's class for advanced floriculture, and I do livestock judging as well.
Hi, I'm Emery Smith, and I'm the vice president of our chapter, and I'm an intro to animal science.
I'm Miss Willie. I teach the ag classes.
I'm Mallory Youngberg, and I'm in her Ag Leadership class and Intro to Animal Science class.
Okay, I said I'd do the first two to make them feel better. So, just to give you an update on the way ag classes are looking right now, we tweaked my schedule this year, and I think that it's working. We have two defined pathways now. We have plant systems and then animal science. The ag leadership class is intended to be like that intro level class to kind of get them going and then decide what direction they want to go. My numbers have grown. When I started, I had like 112 students, and now I'm up to like 160, so that's super exciting. And to have more than 6 in an advanced class like we had last year is good, so we're going in the right direction. And then also a big update is I just got affiliated with Lynn Benton Community College, so we're able to give anywhere from 2 to 10-ish college credits depending on how many classes they take and kind of what pathway they want to go. And so that's super exciting to be able to give them that big of a variety of classes to give them some credit in. So super excited about that and everything that's going to happen with that later. And then with that, we've kind of already hit the ground running with projects and trips so far in class. We went to Gilbert Farms in Malala. We saw the Brahmas. They love having us. We love going every year. We've done how-to speeches, so we did how to give haircuts. We did how to cook mac and cheese, ham sandwiches, tie your shoe, anything you can think of. They did it in ag leadership. We went to the Dahlia Farm for floriculture, and we have a bunch of more trips planned here coming up. So very excited, and all the opportunities we get to do is exciting, so.
We had 5 students attend Lynn Benton camp / contest in June. Clackamas County contest advanced, got second all around, and then the beginners got first. 6 students judged at state, and we took 10 students to Medford. For the Western Fall Classic, first contest for 8 of them, they placed 3rd and 4th out of teams from 4 states. $18 students went to fair. Almost all of our students won something in their shows. We already have a growing list for this year, and we are excited to see how many come.
State Fair, we had 4 students attend State Fair this year, and all students won at least one of their classes at the State Fair.
In September, we took 16 students to the leadership camp. The students worked with state and district officers to build leadership skills.
Chapter meetings, we have had 3 meetings. We've had 20 to 30 kids, which is a big number compared to last year.
We had 7 students attend the Creepy Crawl in Estacada and handed out candy and items donated by the Oregon pork producers for Porktober. We are excited to do it again next year.
Never heard of Porktober before.
The advanced team from the ag sales the advanced team placed 6th with, do I read the names? Okay. Oh, there was an advanced team and a beginning team, and for food science, the team placed 3rd, which was me and Emery.
Emery and I.
We have 100 students from we had 100 students from Canby, Sandy, Molalla, Colton, and North Clackamas attend the field day at our high school on December 5th. We had the rituals contest here.
For the floral subscription, we have our advanced floriculture made a presentation about 4 months of selling beautiful pieces that we put together ourselves. All of this money is going back to the floriculture just so we can get more flowers, to get more pieces out so we can give them away to family, friends, and whoever we need. Actually, the pieces that are in front of you today are pieces that we just made in advanced floriculture.
December 14th is our annual dinner and auction. We have tri-tip dinner, games, silent auction, live auction. Dinner tickets are $25. Table for 8, $350. If you scan the QR code or follow us on Facebook, you can get more info on the dinner. I would love to see all of you there. It's always a fun night and the food is amazing.
We also had Jenny print out complimentary tickets, so each of you should have got at least one, and so that'll work to get you in as well. So we're super excited about that. But do you guys have any questions for them or me?
I do. What is a ritual contest?
That's what my question was.
Okay, so the rituals contest, it's for all of the officer teams within our district, and so everyone's allowed 2 teams if you have a junior officer team and an advanced. So we had our advanced officer team do it, and so they basically go through the opening ceremonies. So each officer has a part they have to memorize. Emery has the most, because she has to basically do roll call, and then they all basically explain what it is, and so they get judged off of their appearance, make sure that their uniform is correct, but then they also get judged on making sure that like their voice and their hand gestures and everything is accurate, and so it's pretty tough in our district. North Clackamas usually does very well, and so we are trying to creep up there on them.
What are some of the big ticket items at the auction this year? Or raffle?
Oh gosh, my upstairs in the ag room is full of stuff that they have been collecting. We have an awesome handmade tailgate bench made by Aaron Durand. And cool fact about that is if you remember the big oak tree out front, Aaron somehow managed to get his hands on some of that, and that is the wood that is in the bench. So I know that's pretty sentimental to our community, and so he was pretty pumped when he made that, and there's a picture of it on our Facebook, so that's super cool. We have a couple of gun raffles again this year like we did last year. We have big camping bags, we have big yard games. I mean, we have basically something for everybody. We've got tons of wood pellets and there's a bunch of stuff upstairs we're loading out on Friday, so we're very excited.
Where is the auction?
It's on the ticket. The address is, it's off of Metzler Park Road at Heidi and Lester's wedding venue. And we're excited that they were able to stay in town a little longer than normal so that we could have it out there. And we're hoping that will be our forever home from here on out. But it's the second driveway. It's the big barn. It's gorgeous. So we're excited to get in there on Friday and start decorating it with all of our centerpieces and everything they have made so far.
Nice.
You smell really good, by the way.
That's what my classroom smells like 24/7 right now.
It's great. It's really nice.
You smell really good. I'm like,
You also smell good.
Thank you.
Probably because you've been sitting in the classroom with me.
Yes.
any other questions?
Not a question, but just an observation. On our website, on the Estacada, the events has the banquet as the 13th, but the flyer says the 14th, so maybe there's a change that needs to happen, so.
I will let Jenny know, my secretary.
Thanks, Jenny.
She works part-time for FFA this time of year, so we love her.
We want to make sure we get people in
As
the
a
door, so.
volunteer.
Yes.
Get the date, right.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Thank
All
you
right.
for the ticket.
Yes, thank
Yes.
you.
Of course, yeah. Okay.
All right, nice
Thank
job.
you.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you. All right, and as the previously teased forestry and CTE update, Aaron Gardenhire, come on down.
All right. Oh, we lost a picture there. It was a really good one, by the way. Thank you so much for letting me come and share with you. Not only are we going to talk about forestry, but also just some updates about CTE. You all have shared from the very beginning how deeply rooted CTE is to the Estacada community. And I've been honored to be able to represent CTE and work through this pathway to support our students in growth and development and becoming part of an amazing workforce here in Estacada. So thank you very much. Oh no, all of them are gone. It's okay, we'll work through it. So I was just sharing with Denise this morning, it was exactly 1 year ago tomorrow that I came to you for the very first time and shared our vision for what CTE was going to be. So to be able to provide this update to you with the amount of progress we've made over this year is something quite remarkable. So currently, we have 4 programs. We have agriculture, diesel and transportation, manufacturing, and our brand new is electrical systems. We have 253 students, individual students, participating in our CTE programs. We have over 375 seats in our CTE programs. This is a program these pathways are incredibly popular, and we are getting more and more opportunities for students as we progress through and develop our program. Over the last year, we've had the great opportunity to develop some incredible partnerships. We've reinforced some that were already established and been able to bring on some new partners, including City of Estacada, Trajectory, and Portland General Electric, just to name a couple. They have been incredible supporters in our desire to get students into work-based learning opportunities and give us some insight on ways in which we can improve what we're doing to better align the programs to what the industry is asking of them. Our instructional alignment, this is a big thank you. We were able to bring in the curriculum last spring. So both diesel and transportation and electrical systems and manufacturing brought on the new curriculum that was online modules with trainers. These trainers are designed specifically to give students hands-on experiences, which they may not be able to have if it weren't for the trainers. We don't have enough cars for every student to experience the same system. We don't have enough electrical systems for students to wire a house. So these trainers do allow students to have multiple opportunities to practice in safe, secure, and controlled environments. We weren't able to purchase new curriculum for agriculture, but we were able to take advantage of Perkins dollars to buy additional models and kits for ag. They chose to take advantage of advancing their animal sciences program. So we have pig uterus models, some bovine fetal models, I think is on the list. So come by and take a look. These are pretty fun to do. One of the things that we are able to take advantage of this year is the Estacada Industrial Park Career Day. This is the first ever. This partnership came to be because of all the work we've been doing in bringing in more industry partners, more folks that want to see our students be successful. We went down and had 143 students participate in this activity. We visited 10. Yep.
Pastures?
Aren't these beautiful? So we're just going to skip this. We'll leave it right here. We had 10 different businesses and organizations who were taking part. Our students visited 4 different sites. Locked Buildings provided lunch for us, and not to be overdone, McCarthy Manufacturing also provided snacks because Locke was providing lunch, so we needed to make sure everybody was well fed. Students had a fantastic time, and overwhelmingly from our business partners, they were so impressed with the level of professionalism that our students represented. In fact, we got some feedback that they were disappointed that they couldn't hire our students right away and that they needed to wait a couple of years for them to finish their schooling, which was come on up and help us give them the experiences you want them to have. So it's a great partnership. The thing that I think is the most exciting about this opportunity is before we even left, there was conversation about what next year will look like. So it's very exciting, the growth that we're having. And this takes us to the next step. One of the places that students visited was Solder Timber, and we had 3 organizations that were there and talking to our students about forestry. The community is so excited. There is an immense amount of enthusiasm about forestry in Estacada, and for us to be able to offer students the opportunity to go back to the roots of the Estacada community, tie all of our current pathways back to forestry is something that has always been a goal. And we are incredibly fortunate in that every single one of our pathways and forestry intersect so beautifully and combine to make a whole community right here at Estacada High School. We will be spending the next 4 to 6 months developing out the instructional pathway, just like we've done for all the other 4 programs. Our community partners have committed to joining us in planning this pathway. They will be meeting with me beginning in January to check out what do we want the instructional scope to be, what do we want our students to leave Estacada High School knowing, with our plan to start the forestry program in fall of '26. We will have a couple of introductory programs available and build to a full pathway within the next 3 years. On that same note, we are also starting the CTE Advisory Council. This is different than the committee. The committee is specific to each of the pathways. So as I just spoke of the forestry committee, those advisors will help us specifically with forestry. The Advisory Council will be a high-level committee that will help us ensure that everything we are doing is moving us forward into the next generation of CTE. We want to make sure that everything we're offering is relevant and that we are meeting the workforce needs of our students and our community. This group will be providing us with strategic guidance, helping us understand what it is that we need to be providing, how we can better support our students to be industry ready when they leave Estacada. They'll be giving us leadership opportunities, opening up pathways for students to have career-connected learning experiences, internships, job shadows, anything that we can do to get students the real live experiences they need to be successful once they leave Estacada. Whether it go right into the workforce or into post-secondary education, we want them to be prepared. And then advocacy, I think this is the biggest one. A lot of these are leaders from big companies and industry leaders. So to be able to advocate at the state level for consistent funding so we can continue to develop our programs, that they can advocate within their own companies to help us get the resources we need to build that workforce pipeline that they're so hoping we can do. I am so proud of the work that we have done over the last 12 months. Seems like a very long time, but it's a very short amount of time in the world of education. But we've been able to build 4 amazingly productive programs. We've been able to create some incredible partnerships with some industry partners that we've wanted to have with us for a very long time. We've had experiences that weren't even a thought last year. And we're creating some new pathways that are going to take us into the future. So now I want to say, what are your questions for me?
I have one, and I think you alluded to it, but that CTE Advisory Committee. So do you have those folks selected at this point in time, or are you still building that out? And I'm assuming those are community partners that are in the industries, all of that good stuff.
The committee for forestry or the council?
The
council.
CTE Advisory Committee was what I wrote down.
Council.
So
Must be
probably the council. The council, we do have an initial group of folks that will be joining us. It is currently open because we're trying to build it, not as something that is pre-established, but really bring in those partners to help us establish something that is meaningful, that we're not just asking for a rubber stamp, but really how can we be meaningfully building our programs to meet industry needs.
Great.
Can you maybe provide some examples of who you're thinking about?
Sure. So we have PGE is sending 2, one from their fleet management and one from the Faraday Dam project. We also have a couple from forestry. I believe it was Don Greenup.
Don Greenup, yep.
We also have Peterson Cat, who is on our list. We are looking at some partners from CCC, so making sure that what we're doing is in alignment with what students might be experiencing post-secondary. We have the Clackamas Workforce Partnership group that will be sending some folks. And then we have Trajectory, and they're kind of our primary organizer in terms of getting industry folks to come in and support us. And they're a nonprofit that works right here in Estacada.
Was that connection made from that board meeting when they were here?
It was.
I thought
yes.
I wrote a note. I was like, Trajectory, like the people who are here? 'Cause
Yes.
I feel like I remember that, but.
Yes. So those are just a few of the folks that we're having join us. And really, the question is going to be, if you aren't able to join us for the next 6 months, who would be important to have on this group? Because the best folks that we have to advise us are often those that the leaders we see recommend. So who's leading our leaders?
Great, thank you.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of great progress in a year.
Yeah,
it is.
Tell you're
really is.
passionate about it.
Yes, yes.
I know it's a long ways off, but what does the forestry program look like in a classroom setting?
That's a great question. I mean, obviously, we're going to develop it, but it's going to have a lot of the natural resources in the classroom setting, forest management, things that help students understand how the forest can grow and be sustainable. So we want sustainable forest practices. That will be our primary classroom experiences, but then we'll be also going out into some lab forests. Those are the labs. How do we cut down a tree? How do we operate machinery safely in a forest? There probably will be a little bit of fire suppression, some fire management. What does it look like when we're talking about water and cutting down trees? So there's a lot of ecology that sits in forestry. It is not the forestry of the 1900s. We're really looking at modern forestry and how we create sustainable forest practices.
Yeah, and how we've been working with Trajectory and some of the other big players right now is by potentially the district hiring actually an licensed environmental science, so it actually can be a core science credit, and then partnering with industry to bring them to their locations and using the Ranger Woods as a land lab on campus.
If you need another land lab, I've got some area I need cleaned up.
Yeah, well, we think we're going to get a lot of that. Yeah.
Yes.
In addition to that, Mr. Bugney is going to be he's very motivated in this and is offering up his properties as well. And then there's a new person in town named Jeff. And he also just purchased 50 acres, and he's gotten a lot of grant funding in terms of just the conservation area as well. And so there's a ton of opportunities. And John Greenup has also been a big driver in this as well, who obviously owns, a lumber business. And he seems excited about getting students exposed to a work site there. Yeah.
Has there been any outreach to the Forest Service and/or Oregon Department of Forestry?
We have talked about that. We know that the Forest Service, is particularly locally, is in disarray right now. And so they're on our list, but we've struggled to contact anybody who seems to have an understanding of anything.
So in general, and you can see it in August and September when there's fires.
Yeah.
If it's a big fire, it's generally the Forest Service or BLM because it's the federal government and they just like spending money.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the most affectionate way possible. But if you look locally in Oregon, the State Department of Forestry actually has an initiative to put a fire out within the first 24 hours it starts. And so they have the Molalla headquarters for the North Cascades District. And they're probably gonna be a little bit better resources as far as.
That's helpful, yeah.
Like.
The Ripplebrook Ranger Station is
Worthless.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Molalla people would be probably the best.
Yeah.
And the Austin, I think it is with Trajectory, and John
Yeah.
have plenty of contacts there.
Awesome. The other group that we've talked about, which I think is also an awesome resource for us, is working with the state parks and utilizing McIver as an opportunity as well.
Yeah.
And Metro, don't forget.
Ooh, Metro. We have not talked about Metro.
Land restoration kind of projects, so I would
Yeah.
reach out to them.
And we're hoping all of these connections come with LOP tags as well. So it's a hunting reference.
Those come to the board first.
Yeah, exactly.
We get first dibs.
All right,
This is awesome.
yeah, thank you.
Good job.
Thank you
Appreciate it.
so much.
All right, next up is item G, discussion, we have none. So moving on, hearing of citizens for action items only. None, all right. Moving on to action items, the consent agenda includes a package of one or more items to be voted on as a unit. However, if any board member is not in favor of one or more agenda items and prefers to take separate action or request to the chair anytime prior to the vote, we'll remove that item for a separate vote. So first up is the consent agenda.
Chair Idell, I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All right, Will does not have his hand up, so no discussion from him. All in favor, raise your right hand or say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Aye.
And that was our only motion tonight. So next up is hearing of citizens for non-action items.
Yes, we have Tamara Talamantes.
All right,
Come on up.
Tamara, come on down.
Hi, thanks. My name's Tamara Talamontes. I live here.
Hold on just a second. I have to read something here really
Oh,
quick.
okay,
So, we'll let you settle in. So, so as a board, we appreciate and encourage public input. However, Oregon Public Meeting Law requires that these sessions be held in public. This is a meeting in public. It is not a public meeting. The primary difference being that public input may be requested or allowed, but is not required under the law. In other words, you have the right to view, but not necessarily to participate. Policy BDDH is the guide for public participation. In essence, it states that citizens must sign up in advance of the beginning of the regular meeting for an opportunity to speak. At all times, your comments are to be addressed directly to the board. Speaking time will be limited to 3 minutes or less. Those with common topic of interest are asked to combine comments where possible. Designate topic at time of sign up and stay on topic. Any items already directed to the Office of the Superintendent for review will not be heard in board session. Finally, neither the board nor district personnel are expected or required to respond to comments and or questions during board meetings. So I want to give you, I've read that a few times, right? So I want to give you, and you go by Tamara, right?
It's, yeah.
Tamara, okay.
yeah.
Tamara, sorry. I knew that was the reason I was
Close,
asking.
really.
So you get 3 minutes. I'm going to give you a chance to introduce yourself first, and then we'll start the clock. When the 3 minutes stops, that's the time, and it goes really fast. So
I know, I had to do a couple reads.
couple reads, good. So I like to give that disclaimer, so I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself before you start, and then, yeah, we'll start the time.
Okay, well, my name is Tamara Talamontes. I live up on Regan Hill Loop, and my son attends the district. He's in middle school right now.
Great, thank you.
So, sorry, I forgot my glasses here. Okay, I'd like to speak about what I believe and many others believe is a serious safety threat to the school district and particularly the middle school at this time. We believe sincerely that we have a potential school shooter in attendance who lives in Sandy, by the way. The student I'm referring to is a young man with a God complex who's abusing his dog or dogs and blaming it on others and threatening to kill everybody at school, more than once. He's made this threat twice already this calendar year. He's violent and dangerous without consequences for his actions. Of the 10 warning signs of a school shooter, he checks at least 8 of the boxes, leaving only bragging about access to weapons and recruiting accomplices for an attack to be questioned. Side note, he is named after a deadly weapon, so probably safe to assume that he has access to weapons as well, so that would make 9 out of 10 red flags for a potential deadly attack on our loved ones. Since 2nd grade, he's been violent toward others. This is just that I am aware of. I can find other instances. He's banged friends' heads together, stomped on someone's head, throws heavy objects at people, physically attacks others in all aspects, has caused property damage, tells kids repeatedly to kill themselves, and said that he believes he's a god and that they should unban all racism, homophobia, sexism, and violence. He told his now former friend group just 2 months ago that he's in a dark place, he hates himself, the meds don't help. His friends no longer feel safe around him, they're not friends with him anymore, and for good reason. I hope we can prevent an unnecessary tragedy. The red flags here are overwhelming. I urge you to please reconsider his acceptance into our school district instead of waiting for the next violent incident to occur, which is, my understanding, is the current plan for this particular student. Couple of quotes I just want to end on. I'm a god. I can do anything I want because I have autism and ADHD. I hate this school. I'm going to bomb this school. And I'm going to kill you all and send you straight to hell. So those are my concerns. I'm happy to talk in more details, more depth with anybody who cares or wants to. I can gather petition names if that will help anything. I'm the only one who's here to speak, but believe me, there is a large group of adults and kids that have to attend the school with him. Very concerned about this. This is my last resort, well, for today. I really, really hope it does not fall on deaf ears.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all listening.
Yes. All right. And with that, we are at the end of our agenda, so the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.